ready to lace up your boots, throw up your horns, and jump into the pit? Then let's stomp the stigmas of mental illness. It's time for Above Ground Podcast. Now, Will Foley and Timothy Patrick.
Welcome back to Above Ground Podcast.
Above ground.
I'm here with my co-host, Will Foley.
Hi, Timothy. How are you this week?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Trying to choke down an RX bar here for dinner.
Alrighty. Will's eating. The other Will's eating. And where's Will Wheaton? He will be at the... All right. So we've been talking about DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. We've talked about mindfulness. We've talked about interpersonal effectiveness. I think we're going to be talking about some emotional regulation.
Ooh, we can all use a little regulator.
Yes.
Regulators!
Exactly. So emotional regulation is basically what it sounds like, regulating your emotions.
Wow, that sounds like a big effing job.
It is a big effing job. Even more of a big effing job for some of us.
Yeah.
But it's a job that we can do.
It's a job you'll love.
And it's a job you'll love. Decrease emotional suffering.
Remember, suffering is optional.
Ability to tolerate stressful situations. Understanding your emotions. Understanding the emotions that you experience. Identify, observe, even describe. Reduce and decrease emotional suffering, if I didn't say that already.
Wow. That's a trait I wasn't even thinking about.
What?
That it would just end the emotional stuff, like what you just said.
Decrease emotional suffering.
Yeah.
Let go of painful emotions. And you can do that with the help of mindfulness.
Absolutely.
You can change.
You can also do it with a baseball bat or a lead pipe, too.
You can do that.
That's not a very mindful way of doing it, though.
No, it's not a very positive way either. But, you can change painful emotions through the opposite action. You can also understand your emotions, like I said, by identifying them and just understand what your emotions do and what they do for you, or what they don't do for you.
Yeah. Wow. What they don't do for you.
Do you know what our emotions are, Will?
Timmy, tell me what our emotions are.
I don't know. I was asking you.
Oh,
I just work here. No. Well, you got sad.
Well, you didn't ask what the emotions were.
Oh.
You said, what do they do for you?
I did.
A lot of my emotions make me a very, very unhappy person.
Well, we can reduce emotional vulnerability. We can increase positive emotions. Did you know that? We can actually increase positive emotions?
Yes, I do.
Did you know that there's myths about emotions?
There's myths about everything.
Painful emotions are not really important and should be ignored. That's a myth.
That is a myth. Painful emotions are a signal that you have to do something, that there's a call to action that is necessary. Right?
Is that up on the board? Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Yes.
We're playing Mental Health Jeopardy.
If others don't approve of my feelings, I obviously shouldn't feel the way I do. That's a big problem in society today, right there.
Well, there's a lot of problems in society.
Well, there are.
And they're all stemmed from emotions.
Negative feelings are bad and destructive.
I would say that's a myth, because there are some negative emotions.
Correct.
And it's all in how you decipher those emotions that makes them negative, right? Maybe.
Right? I would agree with that. How about showing your emotions is weak? It's a weakness.
I think that's the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
We're gonna take that and we're gonna stomp it right on the ground.
Yeah, that needs a stomp. That not
does.
only needs a curb stomp. That myth.
And
That's
then a
not
twist.
even. Yeah, and a twist. That's right.
And then a twist.
Yeah, that myth that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah, and I think that's the cause of every war. That's the cause of every argument. That's the cause of every fight. And there's because everybody's afraid of being weak, and it's nonsense.
So there's ways to describe emotions. So that's a good way to start.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna throw some words out there at you. Okay.
All right.
Affection, arousal,
Ooh,
desire, infatuation, passion, tenderness, warm, lust. Those are all ways to describe your emotions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you're in love.
Well, if you're in love, then yeah, that's.
But the brain on love is like a brain on drugs. The brain on cocaine. It is. It's been proven that it fires the same synapse in your brain.
Wow.
When you have a new relationship as it would doing cocaine. It fires off the same dopamine shot that affects that part of your brain.
So love is the cure and the cancer.
Can be. It can be. But if you have emotional regulation, love doesn't have to be the cancer.
See, that's what I was going for,
even
buddy.
after it's over, you know what I mean?
You're right on the ball tonight. Right on the ball. Right on the ball.
Right on the exercise ball.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I'm going to jump to this because I'm reading this skills training manual.
And who wrote that skills training manual?
Marsha Linehan did.
And Marsha Linehan is the creator of dialectical behavior therapy.
Yes. But there's expressing and acting on love. Expressing positive feelings to a person. Eye contact, mutual gaze, touching, hugging. It actually says petting, too.
Heavy petting.
No, just petting. No heavy petting. Cuddling. There's no spooning.
No spooning?
Smiling. Sharing time and experiences with someone. Doing things that the other person wants to do. But then there's after effects of love. Only being able to see a person's positive side. Feeling forgetful or distracted. Feeling openness and trust. Remembering other times and people you have loved. Remembering and imagining other positive events.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love is a powerful drug, man.
Love is, yeah. That's a 4-letter word. Eek.
Yeah, it is a 4-letter word.
But we're going to bring some
but
joy.
So is snow.
You want to talk about joy?
Joy. I don't know what that means.
Enjoyment, glee, happiness, jolliness, euphoria, delight, cheerfulness, bliss, relief, satisfaction, triumph, elation.
Wow.
I know.
I never seem to get any relief.
No?
No.
Prompting event for feeling joy? Getting something you have worked hard for or worried about? Or receiving a wonderful surprise? Things turning out better than you thought they would.
I hate surprises. I'm just being honest. That's my cognitive dissonance there.
You sit on a throne of lies. Will really has a bright, glowing face. He's quite bubbly.
Yes, I'm quite bubbly.
All right, so let's talk about some anger words.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I know those words.
Hate, hostility, bitterness, contempt, destructiveness, grouchiness, fury, rage, scorn, wrath.
Yeah, those are some pretty potent words.
Yeah.
But as the Buddha once said, holding on to your anger is like drinking poison and hoping that the other person dies.
It's true.
When it's all only hurting you.
Yep. That's true. So here are some interpretations that prompt feelings of anger. Expecting pain, feeling that you have been treated unfairly, believing that things should be different. Here's that J word again. Judging that the situation is illegitimate, wrong, or unfair. Ruminating about the event that set off the anger in the first place, or if it was set off in the past. What do you think about that?
There's a lot to unpack there, man.
Yeah.
That road case is full of some dichotomy in there between the love and the hate. It's when love and hate collide.
Have you ever experienced the emotion of anger? Does your face get flush? Do you feel nervous or tension, anxiety or discomfort?
All the time.
Muscle tightening? Extremely emotional and out of control?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
You know what sometimes can work? It's really a neat little trick because you can do it anywhere. Besides breathing, is little like shoulder rolls.
Yeah.
Or neck rolls. You know what I mean? It kind of loosens up.
And that's actually one of the first warm-up exercises for Qigong.
There you go.
Is to roll your shoulders.
Yeah.
You start rolling them forward first.
Yeah.
And then you roll them backwards.
Sure. So, what they do with here's some you want to do. Let's do some sadness words.
Sadness words.
Yeah, like crush, defeat, agony, despair, grief, dismay, hurt, neglect, misery, rejection, suffering, unhappiness, and my favorite, melancholy.
Yeah. I live in a state of melancholy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to what about some fear words? You want some fear words?
I'll give you a fear word.
Fear, anxiety, distress, dread, horror, hysteria, nervousness, overwhelmed, panic, terror, worry.
Yeah. Constant worry.
Yeah. That's not fun.
No, it's not.
No.
It's wreaking havoc on my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inflammation, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
So, here we can talk about some other important emotional words, other important emotion words. Cautiousness, reluctant, weariness, bravery, courage, boldness, capability, determination. Did I say determination?
No, you didn't say determination.
Doubtfulness, impatience, mastery, and amazement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impatience on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an important emotional word. Emotion word. Damn. I know. Emotions communicate and influence others. Like facial expressions.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That yes, I've lived experience with that.
There you go.
Recently.
Strong emotions help us overcome obstacles in our mind and in the environment.
There's that E word again, environment.
I'm telling you. Telling you right now.
Environment and energy. And again, if you're putting out energy, you're going to get the same energy back. And which is why it's important to take the course of trying, of doing, not trying, of doing these exercises and try and getting yourself practice using these tools because they'll help you down the line.
Sure.
They'll help you right now. And it doesn't matter if you know how to do it or not. You got to start with a single step. So that's that single step, man.
So do you want to hear another acronym?
Sure.
This one doesn't really make sense because they kind of did a little weird thing here, but a way to remember this is please master.
Whoa. That sounds a little 50 Shades if you ask me.
Well,
please master. Please master.
So the
Please let me have some
P
food.
and the L are in physical. So treat physical illness. Balance eating is the E for eating.
Okay.
Avoid mood-altering drugs. Balance sleep. Get exercise and build mastery. So take care of your body, see a doctor. Take your, prescription medicine if
stay med compliant.
Don't eat too much or too little. Stay away from, foods that make you feel blah, as you can probably attest to this, now you're starting to change your eating habits a little bit. If you probably consume less sugar, you might feel a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
The old additive, you are what you eat.
Yeah. And you are what you drink.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that it's been a little over a week since I had a drink, and my head's a little bit clearer for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we had talked a little bit about this before, and I have found a thing on here about which I think I may have said it, but I didn't really go into depth. But a lot of people will, I guess, what's the word I want to use? Distract or, use negative things like, substances.
Sure, substances, food,
but
binge watching Netflix, whatever.
For strictly for like food or drugs, alcohol, basically these things increase your neurotransmitters. They create this dopamine, and it releases it, so it gives your brain a false positive. It's giving you this temporary dopamine shot, and your brain is like, okay, we don't need to make any more dopamine because you already have some. So then you don't make the dopamine.
Right,
then
it
after
turns off
your
the transmitter.
And then after your high or whatever wears off, the dopamine goes away, and your brain's not making any more. So these are this is the science behind it. You could do these things, but it's not helping you. It's like I don't even know what it's like. It's like a credit card. You can use it all you want, but at some point
at the end of it, it's going to catch up.
Yeah, and you're going to have to pay.
Yeah. Yep. And they all relate.
Yep. They say substance use releases 2 to 10 times more dopamine, and like I said, the brain is fooled that the drug is needed for surviving, allowing for the reward circuit in your brain to respond, and it just it's like a false positive. Like I said,
you're turning on. It's like, I want to say it's like trying to turn the computer on without any power, and it just happens to turn on, and when you go to plug, I don't know. That was a bad analogy. My brain is just, the dopamine in my brain is disintegrated.
Yes. Sorry. So, this is next one is balanced sleep. Try to get the amount of sleep that helps you feel good. Keep to a sleep program, like a routine, a daily routine, a nightly routine. If you're having difficulty sleeping, they say try not to hang out in your room.
They say that not to
basis.
They say not to use your bedroom for anything.
Right.
But sleeping and making love. That's what they say. Because it gives you, if you hang out in your room, which I don't hang out in my room, which I never hung out in my room really, even when I was a kid, because it was too small to just hang out in, and there was not a lot of room to play in it. But it gives you a different sense of things.
Sure. Yeah. So the next one is for E in Please Master, would be...
I still can't get over that.
Exercise. Get exercise. Do some sort of exercise every day. Try to build up 20 minutes. They say 20 to 30 minutes per day of any kind of vigorous exercise, or even just something to get the heart moving a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I swear by a 30-minute walk every day.
There you go.
Every day. I've been able to get 2 miles under 28 minutes.
Yeah?
Again, yeah. I'm doing it about 26 or so, which for me is moving along.
And then the next one, master, is mastery. Build mastery.
Yeah, mastery over your mind, mastery over your emotions.
Try to do one thing a day to make yourself feel good, in control and competent, that you're able to achieve some things, Like I remember the first thing that when I was working with this, I went home. Actually, I made myself breakfast, and something I never tried to make before, but I made eggs in a basket.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I did it. I actually made it. It was pretty good. So that was,
yeah,
that was
good
my
for
master.
you. Man.
Yeah. The other night I actually did. I got one of the customers on the route gave me a zucchini from their garden. It was like this big, so I cut it up, so I put some olive oil and sauteed it, salt and pepper, all that stuff, and then I made some sausage, cut that up, and then combined them in one bowl.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
I bet.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been, like, I had my physical last a few weeks ago, and I've been slowly trying to get my rear end going, and it's prompted a lot of changes that I'm trying to keep implemented.
Well, here we can go into steps for increasing positive emotions.
That helps.
Alrighty.
Positive emotions help.
Build positive experiences. Short term, do things that are possible now. Set some short-term goals. Increase pleasant events that prompt positive emotions. Do one thing each day that can help you smile. Whether it be going for a walk, jog, relaxing, going on a date, playing golf, playing soccer.
How about just smiling?
Smiling. I like smiling. Smiling's my favorite.
That's right.
Eating. All that stuff can all these little things per day can add up to something more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So those were short-term things. Long-term, it says make changes in your life so that positive events will occur more often. Build a life worth living. So work toward goals, accumulate positives, make a list of positive events you want, list small steps toward those, and basically take your first step.
So while we're talking about emotional regulation, I just wanted to, there are actually 9 emotion regulation skills that are listed in the DBT workbook.
Let's hear them.
That I kind of wanted to just bring up because we're talking a lot about the emotions. The first one is recognizing your emotions. You got to recognize when you're happy, when you're sad. You got to recognize when you're angry, when you're not. The second one is overcoming the barriers to healthy emotions.
Nice. And
I struggle with this one because, as we all know, in this world, we're a lot better when we're comfortable. We're not better when we're comfortable, but it feels better when we're comfortable, or when we feel comfortable. And a lot of times, negative emotions, especially if you've had them for such a long time, they feel like your favorite Ramones t-shirt, man, or your favorite pair of jeans. They're just, it's comfortable. It's comfortable, and unfortunately, comfortableness is a nail in the coffin. Oftentimes.
Yeah.
The third one is reducing your physical vulnerability. And I think, to me, that would say that means taking care of your body. I would think, taking care of your body, exercise, and taking care of the body.
Sleep.
The body temple, right. Sleep, exercise, good food.
Taking if you have medication.
Staying med compliant and all that stuff is keeping into your body. 4 is reducing your cognitive vulnerability. Ooh. Which I've realized over the last, and what really prompted me to start to really think about changing a lot of stuff and things is that I've noticed that I have a lot of brain fog, and words don't roll off like they normally do. And I noticed that it was like, and it affects, like, it's affecting my thinking, because I'm starting to think, like, am I losing my marbles? Like, I mean, is it, is the record, is the tape starting to stretch where I can't
stuck on a record?
Yeah, I just can't. I can't come and listen to me. I'm stumbling over it now. Number 5 is increasing your positive emotions.
Right.
Which, I think we've covered enough of that. 6 is being mindful of your emotions without judgment. And we've definitely said that is that is the
just
hardest
observing it.
thing.
Notice presence, step back, and like you said, let it, experience it as a wave coming and going, and don't block it, don't suppress it.
Right, it's just like the ocean. The ocean, the tide rolls in, it rolls out, and it doesn't question that it's coming in, and it doesn't question the size of the wave or anything. It's just, it is what it is.
Right. That's, again, that saying is, there's a lot of weight behind that saying.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Heather. 7 is emotion exposure. So, emotion exposure, I'm not quite sure.
I'm not either. I was kind of like, ooh, what's that?
If they mean exposure as in letting your emotions go, exposing them to the,
probably just feeling
them.
Yeah.
Okay. Like letting them happen.
Because a lot of people want to fight it, and by fighting it, you're amplifying it. You know, a lot of people
what you
don't
focus your attention on.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to be sad.
Right. And then that's all you think about is, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be sad. And then you get angry.
You don't have to act on it, but you should acknowledge it.
Right. And that's all. I think that's what it's all about, is acknowledgement. I think if you can acknowledge anything, then that's the first step.
Yeah.
It's acknowledging. Acceptance.
I think there's a lot of, let's go into this room, but there's spikes on the walls. Okay, so, all right, well, let's prepare and give everybody bubble wrap, and we'll tape them up real tight and put them in this room, and they'll be safe. Like, no, strip down, get rid of that bubble wrap, and go in there and learn how to operate around these spikes and learn how to work with them.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, again, the waves are there. There's always going to be the waves. You can't stop the ocean.
Right, you can't stop the ocean.
So you know what? Let's learn to swim.
Just learn to surf, man.
Learn to surf. Surf's up, brah.
That's right. It's true. Learn to surf,
yeah,
man.
I mean,
the dude abides.
Charlie don't surf.
That's right. Number 8 is doing the opposite of your emotional urges.
That's opposite to emotion. That one's tough.
And that is tough, man, because especially if you're so used to reacting a certain way or feeling a certain way, and it becomes so comfortable, it's very, very hard to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Man.
It says here, I'm not going to interrupt, but I just want to elaborate on that. Do what you are afraid of doing over and over and over again. Do things to give yourself a sense of control and mastery. When you're overwhelmed, make a list of small steps or tasks that you can do, and do the first thing on that list. I guess that would. I mean, they have it under opposite to emotions, so
that's very good.
Get active, approach, don't avoid, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm really good at avoidance.
Gently avoid person you are angry with. You could do that.
I'm good at that too. I'm really good at that. And then the last one, and last one being number 9, is problem solving. And problem solving. And if you have any emotional dysregulation, problem solving can be quite the challenge. Quite the challenge, I say.
Yes.
And it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that's worth accepting, because you need to learn how to problem solve. And
absolutely. And that's part of the problem.
And sure.
I mean, but really, it is.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there who view therapy or view mental illness as this thing to be feared, and they can't solve their problems without accepting the fact that there is a problem. And and it's funny because it sounds so simple that the first way to realize, the first way to fix a problem is to acknowledge the problem, but it's a lesson in futility for a lot of people to try to recognize the problem.
I think what you said earlier is holds a lot of weight. Is you're not your emotion.
Right. We're not our emotions. Our emotions are just part of us. Our emotions.
And like some people may think that if let's say your family pet dies, I mean, that's perfectly justified to be sad. You know what I mean? There's a perfect reason to be sad.
Well,
so it's okay to be sad.
I think it's okay to be sad at any time. I think it's how that sadness affects you.
Well, but if your sadness, if you're sad 5 days out of the 7 days a week, then there might be something else to look into.
Yeah, there's definitely a bigger problem.
Right.
So emotions are nothing more than electrical and chemical signals that alert you to what is happening, and they're there to alert you. But it's when we get caught up in those emotions that we tend to have our problems. And your emotions are processed in your limbic system, which is also connected to the rest of you, which is connected to your brain and body. And when the deep limbic system is
your leg bones connected to your
and when that's affected, I say go out and get Change Your Brain, Change Your Life
by
Dr. Daniel Amen. Yeah, man, that book get it on Audible. That book is phenomenal. And I'm only halfway through listening to it, and it just to hear some of the stuff that he's talking about. But don't forget, though, man, your emotions serve a purpose. They do serve a purpose. It's when we get so stuck in them and that we have all our problems.
Yeah, I think step 1 would be observing and trying to describe it. And just
describing emotions is very hard.
Your interpretation of it, your body changes. What's your body language? The urges, the effects you're having because of it. Just it's one of those face to the name thing,
Right.
I think it goes a long way.
But don't. So as we're talking about this, it kind of brought up something that Tim had shared with me recently. We shared on our page recently that there was a recent article in Psychology Today from the lead singer of Killswitch Engage, Jesse Leach, and he was talking about his panic and depression and how it had affected his life. But he also said that there was a long time where he could not put that into words. And I think that a lot of people suffer from that same thing, is that they can't explain their emotions because they're not sure what they are.
Yeah. That's how I was. I mean, I read that article and I was like, there were so many similarities, and that's why I just said, for me, just being able to kind of describe and name these things was huge.
Well, and that's why I think that naming your that there's been this said that if you name your depression, you kind of keep it quelled. And I've had a hard time with that because I keep thinking I'm a silly man for saying, you know, whatever name you come up with for your emotions. But it can work. It can work, and it can work if you let it.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can work if you let it. But
you know, you can. A lot of people keep a diary. You can keep an emotional diary, you know, on the days, or even just do it by week, you know, and jot down some of the stuff and kind of challenge them and see what the function was and see if there was anything that triggered it. You know, you can also put down like put a plan together, you know.
Yeah, having some sort of outlet for those emotions to let them go. And actually, it's proven that one of the best ways to do that is to write them down. Writing is, especially when it comes to, and I'm missing the name of what the writing is actually called. It's not creative writing. There's a technical name for the type of writing that you do to be beneficial to your health. And writing down, naming your emotions, and just trying to keep track. And it's so tough in this world of, you know, checking your Instabook, you know, Twittergram, you know, feeds, and, you know, making sure that you know, looking out the window, and, you know, and like we're so overstimulated.
Yeah.
That it's hard to want to take the time to sit down and literally write.
Well, because I think the instant gratification thing too. Who wants to take time to sit down? And you can't sit down you can't take time to sit down when you have 10 million other things you got to do. You got to do, but you don't really have to do them, you know?
Yeah.
What, you know, because if you don't take care of yourself, then those things aren't really going to they're not
they're going to go by the wayside anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a meme. If you don't take care of your mental health, you're gonna have to take care of your mental illness or something along those lines.
Yeah, I truly believe that all health starts with mental health.
Sure.
Because if you don't have your mental health, you're not gonna get out of bed to exercise. You're not gonna get out of bed to bathe. You're not gonna get out of, you know, you're not gonna want to go to work. You're not gonna want to do anything. You're not gonna want to live.
Right.
I mean, that what it boils down to is that at some point it can become so bad that you really don't want to live, and that type of emotional pain is
heavy.
Is very heavy. Is very heavy, and
but we hope that some of this stuff can help you, you know, not get to that point.
That's right.
You know, when your engine light comes on in your car, you know, you don't wait 2 months to go get it checked out. You know, but for some reason we wait on our own mental states, you know, and our own well-being. It's like we gamble with it, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
you know, if you were a diabetic and you had to take medication for the rest of your life, that's what you do, and you kind of don't think twice about it. You just do it. But if it was for your mental health, people are like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's true.
And it should be in the same category.
It should, and I think we're coming. I think we're starting to see the change. I think it's going to take a long time.
There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be done,
but we're doing our part.
That's right. You can only help shine your side of the street, man.
So we just hope that you guys continue shining. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you can pass that light on to the next person.
Yeah. We're not here to get, we're here to let. So let it happen. Let it out. And something good will come of it. Timothy?
Yes.
So don't forget, if you're listening on Apple, subscribe, do all that. Thank you guys very much again for listening to another episode. And connect with us when you can. We hope you're all doing well. So
We'll talk to you next week.
absolutely. So until then,
Be well.
be safe.
Be above.
How are we doing out there in podcast land? Thank you guys very much for checking out another episode of Above Ground Podcast. I just wanted to let you know of some stuff that's coming up that affects the podcast, and it's really good stuff, but also say thank you. This past Sunday was our 2019 Out of the Darkness Walk for Rita for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Tim was there and had a table, and a lot of people came up and said hi and took buttons and found out about the podcast for the first time. So we thank everyone. It was such a beautiful day. It was such a good day of remembrance. This was also the first year that the podcast actually had to remember a loss that we had earlier this year. Our friend Patrick passed away, and we celebrated his life by remembering him there. And it was a pretty heavy day by all that took part. So I appreciate it, and I apologize. It's a little late tonight when I'm recording this. Also, this coming weekend are the last 2 walks for our chapter of the Capital Region, New York chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Saturday is the Schenectady Walk, which takes place Saturday at 12 o'clock in Central Park. And registration and check-in begins at 12, and then the walk begins at 1. That's a great walk that's going to be in Schenectady. And then Sunday, our final walk of the season is up in Lake Placid, New York. It's the North Country Walk, and it takes place at the Olympic Speed Skating Oval. And that check-in is at 11:30, and the walk begins at 1. Don't forget, registration closes Friday at noon time, Eastern Standard Time. And you can go online at afsp.org and find out about that. Also, tonight's episode, Tim mentioned Will Wheaton, which was kind of strange because I didn't realize this, but for any of you guys who don't know, I am presenting my first musical keynote ever. I am going to be part of the National Alliance on Mental Illness New York State 2019 Education Conference. I will be there. The conference is October 25th through the 27th at the Wolf Road Marriott Hotel in Albany, New York, right there off of Wolf Road. And I will be presenting my keynote at 11:45 on Saturday, October 26th. And Will Wheaton actually happens to be one of the speakers at this conference, and I did not realize that when we did this episode. I heard Timmy mention it, and I just thought it was hilarious, so I sent him the flyer for the event. But it's for the National Alliance for Mental Illness, and it's the 2019 Education Conference, Building a Movement by Learning Together, Sharing Our Stories, and Strengthening Our Voice. And there's some great speakers, and I just want to thank Matthew Shapiro and everybody at NAMI for inviting me to come out. I'm so excited. It's been a long time. I've been working on this for quite a while, and I look forward to presenting some songs and talking about my story and telling the stories of a couple of my friends that we've lost, including Patrick. And I hope to see as many of you there as possible. But thank you again so much for listening. Don't forget, if you're listening on Apple, man, throw us some stars if you think you like the show enough to do it. Leave us a review. We read them. We're starting to read them all. So thank you so much. And until next week, be well, be safe, be above.
Above Ground Podcast is in no way intended to be a substitute for professional help in any manner or degree. We are not therapists, doctors, or professionals in the medical field. These are the opinions and experiences of two individuals just like you, our peers, who live with mental illness and all of its conditions. If you or anyone you know are experiencing a mental health crisis, please go to your nearest emergency room, call 911, or you can call the National Suicide Hotline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Be well, be safe, be above.